Toni Morrison's Beloved, first published in 1987, is widely regarded as one of the greatest American novels of the 20th century. Inspired by the true story of Margaret Garner, an escaped enslaved woman, the novel follows Sethe as she struggles to build a life after slavery while confronting the haunting memories of her past. Blending history with the supernatural, Morrison creates a powerful exploration of the enduring psychological and emotional legacy of enslavement. Morrison's literary style combines lyrical prose, nonlinear storytelling, and elements of magical realism. Memories, dreams, and the present intertwine, gradually revealing the characters' histories through shifting perspectives and richly symbolic language. Rather than presenting the past as something left behind, Morrison portrays it as a living force that continues to shape the lives of those who survived it. The novel explores themes of memory, trauma, slavery, motherhood, identity, guilt, love, community, and the struggle for healing. Through the mysterious figure of Beloved, Morrison examines how unresolved pain can haunt both individuals and entire societies. Beloved remains a landmark of American literature because it gives voice to experiences too often overlooked, while offering a profound meditation on remembrance, resilience, and the possibility of redemption. The story starts with Sethe living in Cincinnati, Ohio, in 1873, long after she has escaped slavery, but not long enough to escape what slavery has done to her life. She shares the house at 124 Bluestone Road with her daughter Denver, and the home is haunted by the spirit of Sethe's dead baby girl. The ghost is not a quiet presence. It fills the house with anger, loneliness, and grief, and its power has already driven away Sethe's two sons, Howard and Boogler. Baby Suggs, Sethe's mother-in-law, once lives there too, but before her death, she sinks into sorrow, worn down by slavery, loss, and the collapse of the community that once gathered around her. Sethe tries to survive by pushing the past away. Most of what she refuses to think about comes from Sweet Home, the Kentucky plantation where she was enslaved. There she knew Paul D., Paul A., Paul F., Sixo, and Hallie, the man she chose as her husband. Years ago, Hallie worked extra labor to buy baby Suggs' freedom, and later Sethe and Hallie planned to run away with their children, but the escape went terribly wrong. Sethe got out while pregnant with Denver, yet Hallie disappeared, and the others were captured, killed, or broken. One day, Paul D. arrives at 124 after 18 years apart from Sethe. His return brings the past into the house with him. He and Sethe speak easily at first, but Denver feels pushed aside. Paul D. senses the ghost almost immediately, and when the spirit lashes out, he confronts it and drives it from the house. Sethe feels hopeful, believing Paul D. might help her begin a new chapter. Denver, however, resents him because the ghost had been her only companion throughout her lonely childhood. As Paul D. settles in, Sethe begins to share parts of what happened before she escaped to Ohio. She remembers how schoolteacher and his nephews took control of Sweet Home after Mr. Garner's death. Under schoolteacher, the enslaved people are observed, classified, and stripped of their dignity, treated as though they were little more than property. Sethe recalls suffering a deeply humiliating abuse at the hands of schoolteacher's nephews, who took from her what was meant for her infant child. When she spoke out about what had happened, she was savagely punished. The scars left across her back would later remind Amy Denver, the young white woman who helped Sethe during her escape, of the shape of a tree. Sethe's journey to freedom is nearly impossible. Pregnant, wounded, and exhausted, she collapses in the woods where Amy finds her. Amy massages her ruined feet, helps her reach the river, and assists when Sethe gives birth in a leaking boat. Sethe names the baby Denver in honor of the girl who helps her. Soon after, Stampede carries Sethe and the newborn across the Ohio River, and Ella helps guide them to baby Suggs' house. For 28 days, Sethe feels the joy of being free and reunited with her children. Those brief days of happiness matter deeply. Baby Suggs welcomes Sethe, washes her, and helps her feel human again. The Black community celebrates Sethe's arrival with food and fellowship, but the feast grows so large that some neighbors begin to resent baby Suggs. That resentment has terrible consequences. When schoolteacher comes to reclaim Sethe and her children, the community does not warn her. At 124, Sethe sees schoolteacher approaching and understands what he represents. To her, returning her children to slavery is worse than death. In a desperate attempt to protect them, she takes them to the woodshed and tries to kill them. She cuts the throat of her crawling baby daughter, wounds her sons, and is stopped before she can kill Denver. Schoolteacher decides the children are no longer useful to him and leaves. Sethe is taken to jail with baby Denver in her arms. The dead child later becomes the ghost that haunts the house. Paul D. does not know this full truth at first. He carries his own buried pain. After the failed escape from Sweet Home, he is forced to wear an iron bit in his mouth, and he later ends up on a brutal chain gang in Alfred, Georgia. The prisoners there are locked in underground boxes at night and forced to work during the day. During a rainstorm, the men escape together, still chained, and eventually Paul D. makes his way north. To survive, he locks away his memories and emotions as if sealing them inside his chest. For a short time, Paul D. seems to bring movement back into Sethe and Denver's lives. He takes them to a carnival, and Denver is surprised to find that people greet her without cruelty. Sethe notices their shadows joining together and allows herself to imagine a family again. But that hope changes when a young woman appears near 124 after walking out of the water. She calls herself Beloved. Beloved is strange from the beginning. She is weak, thirsty, and childlike. Yet she also seems powerful and unsettling. Denver becomes devoted to her almost immediately. Sethe is drawn to her too, especially because Beloved hungers for stories from Sethe's past. Beloved asks questions that pull memories out of Sethe. The earrings Mrs. Garner gives her, the makeshift wedding dress she makes for Hallie, and the painful memory of Sethe's own mother, who is marked, separated from her, and eventually hanged. Paul D. feels threatened by Beloved's presence. Her attention to Sethe, her mysterious knowledge, and her strange power make him uneasy. Beloved gradually pushes him through the house until he can no longer sleep beside Sethe. One night, she comes to him and forces an intimate encounter that breaks open the emotional defenses he has built for years. Paul D. is ashamed and frightened, and he realizes Beloved has power over him in a way he cannot explain. Meanwhile, Denver becomes more and more attached to Beloved. She believes Beloved may be her dead sister returned, but she also fears losing her. Beloved, however, wants Sethe most of all. She listens intensely to the story of Denver's birth, not because Denver is telling it, but because the story belongs to Sethe. This hurts Denver, who has spent most of her life alone and now clings to Beloved as the center of her world. Sethe begins to sense the truth but does not fully accept it right away. The signs gather slowly. Beloved knows things she should not know. She has a baby-like hunger for Sethe. Her presence echoes the dead child who once haunted the house. After Paul D. leaves, and Sethe hears Beloved humming a private song Sethe once makes up for her children, Sethe finally believes it. Beloved is her dead daughter returned in bodily form. Before Paul D. leaves, Stamp Page shows him a newspaper clipping about Sethe's crime. Paul D. cannot read it himself, but Stamp explains what happened in the woodshed. Paul D. confronts Sethe and she tells him why she did it. In her mind, she was not destroying her children. She was saving them from slavery. Paul D. cannot accept this. He tells her that her love is too consuming and leaves 124. Sethe understands that he's not coming back. After Paul D.'s departure, the house closes in around Sethe, Denver, and Beloved. Sethe stops thinking about any future beyond Beloved. She wants only to make her daughter understand that the killing comes from love and terror, not hatred. Denver sees things differently. She loves Beloved, but she is afraid of Sethe and has always feared that the force that once drives her mother to kill might rise again. Beloved speaks from a fragmented place of memory with images of water, bodies, hunger, and loss, suggesting not only the murdered child's experience, but also a deeper memory of the Middle Passage and generations of suffering. Inside 124, love turns dangerous. Beloved demands more and more from Sethe, and Sethe gives everything. She loses her job because she keeps arriving late. Food becomes scarce, yet Sethe feeds Beloved while denying herself. Beloved grows stronger and larger, while Sethe grows thinner and weaker. Their roles begin to twist. Beloved behaves like an accusing mother, while Sethe becomes pleading and childlike, desperate to be forgiven. Denver realizes that if no one intervenes, Beloved may destroy Sethe. For Denver, this becomes a turning point. She has not gone into the world alone for years, but she gathers the courage to leave 124 and seek help. She goes to Lady Jones, her former teacher, and asks for work or food because her mother is sick. Lady Jones tells the community, and soon people begin leaving food outside 124. As Denver returns the dishes and baskets, she starts forming relationships with the neighbors who had once kept their distance. She also receives reading lessons again, and later approaches the Bodwins, the white abolitionist siblings who own 124, for help. They offer her a job, opening the possibility of a life beyond the haunted house. Word spreads about Beloved, and Ella, a respected woman in the community, decides the situation cannot continue. Although Ella does not excuse what Sethe did, she believes the dead should not be allowed to consume the living. She gathers a group of black women, and together they go to 124 to drive Beloved out. Their voices rise in song and prayer, calling Sethe back from the hold Beloved has over her. When Sethe and Beloved come outside, the women see how badly Sethe has faded and how powerful Beloved has become. At that moment, Mr. Bodwin arrives to pick Denver up for work. Sethe, confused by memory and panic, mistakes him for schoolteacher. Instead of turning her violence toward her children as she once did, she runs at the white man with a spike. The women stop her, and in the chaos, Beloved disappears. Some later claim a naked woman is seen running into the woods, but no one truly knows where she goes. Afterward, the spell around 124 begins to weaken. Stampede tells Paul D. what has happened, and Paul D. returns to the house. Denver is now working and beginning a future of her own, with Miss Bodwin even hoping she might study at Oberlin College. Paul D. finds Sethe lying in baby Suggs's bed, empty and exhausted, as if she has lost the will to live now that Beloved has vanished again. Paul D. sits with Sethe and offers the tenderness he could not offer before. He understands that both of them have been shaped by violence, shame, and memory, but he also sees that survival cannot mean living only inside yesterday's pain. Sethe says her best thing is gone, meaning Beloved. Paul D. gently tells her that she herself is her own best thing. His words point toward healing, not because the past disappears, but because Sethe may finally begin to imagine herself as more than a mother defined by loss. In the end, Beloved becomes something the community tries to forget. Her words fade, and people become uncertain about what she said or even exactly what she was. But the story leaves behind the truth she forces everyone to face. The past cannot simply be buried. It returns when it is denied, and it demands witness. Sethe, Denver, Paul D., and the community all must confront what slavery has broken before any of them can move toward a different kind of future.